Hello and welcome to the podcast. This is Ron's Amazing Stories. We have stories that should thrill you a little and chill you a little.
It's amazing.
What you'll hear are adventures sent in by you guys, classic stories from the pulp mags, and episodes from the golden age of radio. We have special segments like Ghost Stories with Sylvia.
That's amazing.
And These Are Your Stories. So settle in for the next hour and enjoy the show. One more thing. You just might want to prepare yourself to be taken away from today.
What's that you say?
Hello and welcome to the podcast. When we talk about the 4th of July, we include words like fireworks, freedom, and founding fathers who could have used air conditioning. A day when Americans gather to celebrate independence with grilled foods, questionable fashion choices involving the American flag, and enough fireworks to make your cat consider a life of solitude. But beyond the sparklers and barbecues lies a tale of revolution, resilience, and really sweaty men in wigs signing a document destined for fame, the Declaration of Independence. In 1776, a bunch of colonists decided that they'd had enough of King George III's shenanigans. Was it the taxes? Not without representation. Was it bad tea? Absolutely not. They drafted the Declaration of Independence as a strongly worded breakup letter to Britain. Thomas Jefferson penned the first draft, probably while humming a catchy tune and wondering if inalienable rights should be spelled with one N or two. After some edits, because even the founding fathers had to deal with group drama, the document was approved on July 4th, 1776. John Hancock signed it with such flair, you think he was angling for the first ever autograph collector. But how do we celebrate the 4th here on Ron's Amazing Stories? Well, we are going to tell some amazing stories. So what do you say we get started? Set your Wayback Machine for March 21st, 1948, when radio was king and TV was just an ambitious toddler. CBS had a show called
You Are There.
Its premise imagined what it would be like if modern reporters covered historical events. Like when it snows here in the Northwest. They send out reporters asking people how they feel about it. Really kind of drives me nuts. In an episode that You Are There did, titled Philadelphia, July 4th, 1776, listeners were treated to the sounds of quill scratching, debates through the Independence Hall, and probably a few murmured complaints about the heat. Roving reporters interviewed key figures like Jefferson, Franklin, Washington, and Adams, asking the hard-hitting questions and getting some answers that make me wonder how we ever got to be 247 years old. The show did turn some heads and presented a view of the historical event unlike anything ever presented so far or since. Of course, that's my humble opinion. For our first story, let's listen to that episode in which there are no commercial nonsense, just a bunch of guys changing the world.
This is John Daly at the State House in Philadelphia. A powerful opponent of the Declaration of Independence has emerged here on this 4th evening of July 1776. An opponent strong enough to rally the latent opposition to separation from the mother country. Mr. John Dickinson, Pennsylvania's leading delegate to the Continental Congress, has just told reporters that he intends to speak on the floor before the final vote is taken. This in a supreme effort to block this declaration, which would commit our 13 colonies to revolutionary war with England. Mr. Dickinson agreed that he is staking his political future on the outcome of the vote. He anticipates that if he fails to block passage of the Declaration of Independence, he will be ejected from the Congress and be
July 4th, 1776, the State House in Philadelphia. You are there.
John Dickinson, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson. CBS takes you back to the evening when the colonial leaders fought their showdown battle on the issue of independence from England, with the fate of a continent hanging in the balance. All things are as they were then, except for one thing. When CBS is there,
You are there.
You Are There is based on authentic historical fact and quotation. And now,
July 4th, 1776, the Philadelphia State House and John Daly.
dining during the recess, which is now officially over. We hurried from the inn to this microphone here on the floor of the Congress to bring you this news. Mr. Dickinson has not arrived yet. He should be along at any minute, but meanwhile, the news has preceded him, and it's having an explosive effect on the delegates who are present. As a matter of fact, the weather isn't helping things either. It's very hot here in Philadelphia tonight, and in their heavy waistcoats, ruffles, and wigs, the delegates in the hall are perspiring profusely. Even more irritating are the horse flies from a nearby stable which come in through the open windows. These flies are nasty, so much so that Mr. Thomas Jefferson of Virginia, the author of the Declaration, has said that it is not at all unlikely that this debate will be ended not by sharp logic of the delegates, but by the even sharper bite of the horseflies. Major George Fielding Eliot has been talking to the delegates and is now ready with his analysis of the possibilities inherent in Mr. Dickinson's announcement. So I switch you now to our CBS headquarters booth here in the Congress. Come in, Major Eliot.
Mr. Dickinson's views carry great weight here. His announcement therefore comes as a shock to those delegates who want the Declaration of Independence passed. Mr. John Adams from the Massachusetts Bay Colony, leader of the Independence Party, had hoped the Declaration would go through unanimously, but that's no longer possible. Indeed, the Declaration may not even pass. Mr. Adams and Mr. Dickinson personify the present political conflict. Mr. Adams is the son of a Massachusetts lawyer. He was educated for the law in New England. He agrees with the men who dumped the East India Company's tea into Boston Harbor. Although Mr. Adams prides himself on being a plain man, the delegates regard him as arrogant and intolerant of all who differ with his views. Mr. Dickinson, on the other hand, was born to wealth. He received his education at London's Middle Temple. He has a mild, amiable, sincere manner. He opposes independence because of his conviction that all political injustices can be righted by legal methods without recourse to violence or revolution. Just a moment. John Adams and Thomas Jefferson have entered the hall. So, back to John Daly.
Mr. Jefferson! Mr. Jefferson!
Yes?
Mr. Jefferson, you've heard the news that Mr. Dickinson will speak against independence. May we have your comment?
I have the greatest respect for Mr. Dickinson's courage and integrity. Mr. Adams and I wish we could say as much for his political judgment.
This Congress, sir, is in no mood for any more of Mr. Dickinson's temporizing. In the course of this debate, the delegates have learned to know Mr. Dickinson for what he is. A spineless aristocrat at best, at worst an agent of the enemy.
Well, Mr. Adams, we're very glad to have your comment also. Are you accusing Mr. Dickinson of being in the pay of the British?
I hardly think Mr. Adams
If you please,
intended
Mr. Jefferson. Sir, Mr. Dickinson has consistently sabotaged the work of this body by fallacious appeals to reason and by parliamentary devices, but no more of that. The Declaration of Independence will be put to a vote as soon as President Hancock arrives and calls this meeting to order. And I am confident that the gentleman will be unable to sway the Congress from the course on which it is now well launched.
Thank you, Mr. Adams and Mr. Jefferson. The delegates are taking their seats, and as you must have gathered from Mr. Adams' remarks, the long smoldering enmity between him and Mr. Dickinson has finally flared out into the open. The debate, when he and Dickinson clash on the floor, promises to be more violent than any this Congress has heard in the 2 years since it's been in existence. Mr. Dickinson has just entered the hall, and he has to pass our microphone. He's coming this way now. Mr. Dickinson, sir.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Dickinson. Mr. John Adams has just called you an agent of the enemy, Mr. Dickinson. Would you care to make...
Adams considers anyone who differs with him to be an agent of the enemy. But I cannot allow myself to be silenced by insults. The question is, shall our colonies declare themselves independent of the mother country? And on this question, my opponents have been utterly dishonest.
Will you explain that, Mr. Dickinson?
Certainly will. 11 times in the past 2 years, Congress pledged itself not to seek independence. In January of this year, only 6 months ago, the Congress passed a most solemn declaration to the effect that we Americans have no thought of setting up an independent nation. And now, tonight, Mr. Adams asks us to break our pledged word. Nay, he demands it.
But if the people favor independence, Mr. Dickinson,
Mr. Adams has confused the people. He has engineered coup d'etats in the provincial legislatures in order to pack this Congress with delegates favoring independence. He has organized gangs of hoodlums to roam the streets of the cities and towns, attacking those who oppose revolution.
But isn't it true, Mr. Dickinson, that at least 50% of the population favors independence?
Is it right for one half of the population to impose its views on the other half by terror? Can these colonies hope to achieve victory in a revolutionary war when half of the people oppose it? I predict that if the Congress passes the Declaration of Independence, the result will be civil war, useless bloodshed, and ruinous defeat. True. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dickinson. The delegate from Pennsylvania is walking to his seat now. Mr. John Hancock, the president of the Congress, has entered the chamber, but it will very probably be a few moments yet before he calls the Congress to order. Mr. Dickinson said that a considerable portion of the people are opposed to independence. Well, Ken Roberts is outside the State House, where a representative crowd of Philadelphians are awaiting the result of the vote. So let's find out what they think about independence. Go ahead, Ken Roberts.
With me at our CBS microphone is Mrs. Agnes Hatcher, who lives on Water Street. Mrs. Hatcher, do you favor separation from England?
I hate separation. My husband was killed fighting for separation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's John Adams that should be sorry, and Mr. Jefferson. Why don't they make peace and end this killing?
But, Mrs. Hatcher, would you want peace at any price?
Will you tell me why my husband should die at Boston fighting the Bay Colonies battles? If the men of New England have a quarrel with the British, let them do the fighting and dying themselves.
But Mr. Adams and Mr. Jefferson say they want freedom for all the colonies.
I don't care about freedom. My husband is dead.
Thank you, Mrs. Hatcher. Now, here beside me is Mr. Richard Caswell, an importer in Philadelphia. I forgot to ask you, Mr. Caswell, what do you import?
The finest of English woolen, sir. The very finest.
I see. And do you favor independence? Excuse me, Mr. Caswell. A dispatch rider has just ridden up to the State House. His horse is lathered and covered with dust and sweat. It looks as if he's been ridden long and hard. Where are you from, soldier?
New York. General Washington's headquarters.
What's the news there? What's happening?
Plenty of excitement.
Wait a minute. What's going on? The rider has gone into the State House. Whatever the news is, our reporters inside will bring it to you as soon as it's released. I'm sorry about that interruption, Mr. Caswell.
Quite all right, quite all right.
You were about to tell me whether you favored independence.
It's an illusion, sir. Independent from what? How can we be independent? We're Englishmen, my family's English, they're all in England. Well, my trade, my business is with England. Look at my books, you see. This talk about separation is ridiculous. Worse than ridiculous. It's vicious. It's ruining me. Ever since this war started, no shipments. Percentages, 76% less business than my firm did in 75.
But, Mr. Caswell, isn't it argued that if the colonies were independent, American businessmen could then trade with the entire world?
Who wants to trade with the entire world? What do we need the world for? Everything we can produce, we can sell in England. And everything that we need, we can buy from England. It's just common sense, that's all. How do you suppose the colonies have grown prosperous and strong and important? Protected trade with England. Protected trade.
Yes, but what about the heavy taxes that the mother country has imposed? What about taxation without representation?
Bad, very bad. But independence? Worse, much worse. Terrible. What about Pitt and Burke in Parliament? We have friends in England. They're trying to settle this thing intelligently, without violence, without bloodshed. But Mr. Adams and Jefferson, those wild men in there, hotheads, radicals, that's what they are. They want to get power, that's all, power. That's all they're interested in, power.
But, Mr. Caswell, independence is
Independence, the word second. Listen to him. We've already become independent of principle and gratitude to the mother country.
What's he saying?
And if this war is permitted to continue, we shall become independent of cash, clothing, laws, liberty, and... Yes, life itself. What are you talking about? You're a liar, that's what you are, mister. You're a Tory. A Tory. The truth. It may not be popular, but it's the truth.
Shut up, you Tory, or we'll pick your lesson.
I'm not afraid of you. Listen, close your mouth.
Mr. Caswell has just been struck by some man who's been heckling him. The crowd here is manhandling Mr. Caswell. The men are flailing at him with their fists. They must be members of the Sons of Liberty. The women are tearing at Mr. Caswell's clothes and spitting at him. This crowd has gone wild and it's frightening. Mr. Caswell has been knocked to the ground. I can't see him, but I can hear his cries. The men are bending over him, swinging their fists, pounding.
This is John Daly inside the Continental Congress. We have interrupted Ken Roberts because President Hancock has just called the Congress to order. He's about to read the dispatch which has just arrived from General Washington's headquarters in New York. President Hancock.
This is the information contained in General Washington's dispatch. The news is grim indeed. A great British fleet is at this moment in New York Harbor. British Marines have seized Staten Island in the harbor, and redcoats are landing there by the thousands. General Washington advises that a British attack on New York City must be expected momentarily. The enemy appears to have overwhelming superiority in numbers and equipment. General Washington concludes with a statement that it may be impossible to defend New York City with the slender forces at his command. Gentlemen, the Congress will recess for 5 minutes.
The Congress has again recessed. The sound of President Hancock's gavel has released a torrent of excitement and confusion bordering virtually on panic. Delegates have risen from their seats. They are moving about the floor, talking to each other in loud voices, often shouting in their arguments. Mr. John Adams and Mr. Thomas Jefferson have rushed up to the chair. Mr. Adams is pale, agitated. Only Mr. Dickinson, of all the delegates here in the chamber, has remained seated. Mr. Rutledge. Just a moment, sir. Here's Mr. Edward Rutledge, a delegate from South Carolina. Sir, what effect do you think the news of the British arrival will have on the independence vote?
It cannot fail to have a profound effect. It will add force and logic to Mr. Dickinson's position.
Thank you, Mr. Rutledge. Mr. Rutledge is one of Mr. Dickinson's supporters. Here is Mr. Elbridge Gerry, a delegate from the Massachusetts Bay Colony and an independence man. Mr. Gerry, what do you think of the announcement, sir?
Frankly, I don't know what to think. Mr. Dickinson may well argue now that the Declaration of Independence may not be worth the paper it's written on. But we must keep our head. We must...
Thank you, Mr. Gerry. Major Elliott has more news from New York, so let's switch to him in our CBS headquarters booth. Come in, Major Elliott.
We now know that the British fleet numbers 130 vessels. The troops on board are commanded by General Sir William Howe, one of England's ablest generals. The appearance of the fleet has thrown New York into disorderly confusion, and the legislature has withdrawn for safety to White Plains, 35 miles away. Our New York newsroom informs us that a short while ago, CBS correspondent Ned Kelmer passed through the British lines on Staten Island under safe conduct to interview the British commander-in-chief. He made a tape recording of this interview that our New York newsroom will play for you now.
This is the kitchen of a Staten Island farmhouse which now serves as General Howe's headquarters. A regiment of redcoats is on parade outside, marching to the music of a British military band. I can see them through an open window from where I'm standing. In their tight-fitting scarlet coats and long gaiters, these trim soldiers in perfect step to the music look like the veteran fighting men that they are. General Howe, sir, will you tell us how many such troops you have at your disposal?
14,000 on this island, and an additional 13,000 under General Carleton on their way across Lake Champlain in upper New York.
You don't mind giving General Washington this information?
Not at all, not at all. Frankly, I doubt very much that it will make any difference if Washington knows it.
I take it then, General Howe, that you're completely confident of victory.
Naturally. Those men you see out there, they are the conquerors of France and Spain. They're the finest troops in the world. They'll crush Washington's colonial militiamen at the very first encounter, utterly. But Washington, poor fellow, he's leading nothing but a rabble. They lack powder, guns. His officers are without experience. Washington himself is hardly what you might call, shall we say, a professional military man.
General Washington, sir, made quite a good showing in the war against the French.
Under English commanders, Mr. Calmer. Under English commanders. Mr. Calmer?
Calmer. General Howe, you know, of course, that the Continental Congress is about to vote on independence from England. Would you care to comment on that, sir?
Yes, I would like to say something to that. I would like to say it as a friend and not as a soldier. I repeat, as a friend, because I think I have amply demonstrated my friendship for British America in the past, by word and deed.
Yes, if I recall correctly, General Howe, you once stated publicly that you would never lead British troops against British America.
Of course, but the situation has changed. The colonies are now being led by a pack of extremists. This rebellion by the mob must be crushed, and I have the forces with which to crush it. The greatest fleet and the most powerful force of soldiers ever assembled on American soil. I hope with all my heart that it will not be necessary to throw this array of military power into action. I pray that the counsel of the extremists will be rejected by the Continental Congress and that the advice of saner, more moderate men will prevail.
Thank you, General Howe.
This is George Fielding Eliot in Philadelphia. The interview you have just heard was a tape recording made by Ned Kelmer at British headquarters on Staten Island. The recess here in the Continental Congress continues. The delegates are confused, shaken. Mr. Adams, Mr. Jefferson, and Mr. Benjamin Franklin, the leaders of the Independence Party, are doing all they can to counteract the doubt and hesitation inspired by the news from New York. They are trying desperately to maintain their strength, to keep their pledged votes in line, and they are insisting that the final vote be taken tonight without regard for the situation in New York. On the other hand, a group of less militant delegates is urging postponement until we have more definite information from General Washington's headquarters. The Commander-in-Chief said in his dispatch that he fears that he may not be able to hold New York. The cautious delegates want to know for sure whether he will fight or surrender the city without a struggle. Our CBS correspondent, Bud Collier, is now at General Washington's headquarters. He may have some last-minute information. Therefore, we take you now to General Washington's headquarters in New York. Bud Collier reporting.
I'm waiting here on the parade ground before General Washington's headquarters. The Commander-in-Chief has promised to answer my question as soon as he comes out to address his troops, presumably to make some formal statement about the news of the British arrival. The bugles are blowing assembly. The men of the regiments are running to join their formations. I can see the flag of the 1st Massachusetts, I believe it is, the Virginia Rifles, the 5th Connecticut, and many others. But in all this mass of thousands of men, I see very few men in uniform. Most of the troops are dressed in civilian homespun, and quite a few of them wear the fringed leather shirts which mark them as frontiersmen. General Washington has still not come out on the parade ground. Oh, here's a militiaman coming by. Soldier! Soldier!
Let me go. I got Paul.
Oh, just a few questions. You've got plenty of time. What's your name, son?
Look, Tom Summers. Look, let me go, will you, mister? The sergeant will give me
That's all right. I'll fix it with General Washington for you. How old are you, Tom?
17.
Ever seen any action against the British?
No, not yet.
Well, you'll probably see action soon right here in New York.
Well, I ain't afraid, if that's what you mean.
How long have you been in the Army, Tom?
Two months. Look, please, mister, ask me all your questions at once.
All right, Tom, sure. How long are you in for?
Well, I'm going back home next month. That's when my 3 months are up.
Oh?
My pa enlisted me. He wanted to make himself $10.
I see.
Well, he got his $10, and I'm going home next month. Oh, there ain't nothing wrong with that, you know.
No.
Some fellas enlisted for the money and then deserted without even serving their 3 months.
Well, yes, but what about independence, Tom? How do you feel about independence?
Well, I don't know nothing about that, honest, mister. There's the general. I gotta go.
General Washington is approaching the microphone. He wears his full-dress uniform. His sword flaps against the side of his leg as he walks. General Washington, are you going to fight for New York?
It is a difficult question. Frankly, I haven't made up my mind.
If you elect to fight, General Washington, do you think you will be able to defend New York successfully?
I will do my best, and God willing, we shall be successful. In any event, I would like to say to all the people, do not yield to panic.
But, General, in view of the current situation, do you think the Declaration of Independence should be passed at this time?
That must be decided by the Congress in Philadelphia.
Thank you, General Washington. Commander-in-Chief is walking away across the field now, his shoulders slightly bent, his jaw thrust forward in the manner of a man who bears an enormous responsibility for which he is ill-prepared. This is Bud Collier in New York. I return you now to the Continental Congress in Philadelphia.
This is John Daly of the Continental Congress in Philadelphia. This is the long-awaited climax of the debate on the Declaration of Independence. The Congress has reconvened, and because Mr. Dickinson asked to speak against the Declaration, Mr. Adams has also requested the floor. By agreement, the vote will take place when the two speakers have finished. Also, by agreement, before the session began, Mr. Adams is speaking first. He's exerting his utmost efforts to keep the votes pledged to independence from bolting to Mr. Dickinson. Will he succeed? Well, we'll only know when the vote is taken. And now let's listen to Mr. Adams.
By proclaiming a Declaration of Independence, gentlemen, this Congress will be giving official recognition to a fact which already exists, namely that these colonies are actually, in fact, independent of England. Yet, some great brains counsel us to wait, to exercise caution. Do these cautious gentlemen plead for a postponement of a Declaration of Independence so that their Tory friends may have time to hatch plots and conspiracies against us? Gentlemen, to delay is to play into the hands of the enemy, defeating the cause for which so much blood has already been shed. there must be no further delay. The people are ready. The people wait for the Congress to lead them. The hour has struck. The Congress must proceed now to a vote, an affirmative vote, on the Declaration of Independence.
Mr. Adams has left the rostrum. Mr. Dickinson is coming up to speak. Dickinson's face is pale. His fists are clenched. He's clearly marshaling all of his strength for a supreme effort of oratory. He's waiting now for the Congress to come to order. Mr. Dickinson.
Mr. President, I accuse my opponents of cynicism. They cannot believe that these colonies will be able to endure as independent states. Their true goal is not independence. They exploit indignation against the mother country to further their own personal fortune. Mr. President, my opponents make their appeal to the emotions. I make my appeal to intelligence and logic. Mr. President, British troops are on Staten Island in overwhelming force. They are about to attack New York. General Washington's task will be difficult at best, but a Declaration of Independence now will serve only to divide the people of New York and make the defense of that city hopeless. Pass the Declaration and you will set brother against brother, father against son. The colonies will become not only the scene of warfare with the mother country, but civil war as well. And in the bloody, senseless, fratricidal struggle, there is no possibility of success. Proclaim independence this evening, gentlemen, and you gain nothing. You merely invite the whirlwind of destruction. I urge you to vote against it. I beg, I plead, I beseech you, vote against independence.
Mr. Dickinson's plea has been received without applause. The delegates are calling the question, and there seems to be no objection. Oh, but wait a minute. Several of the delegates have risen. However, they're not going to ask for the floor. These delegates are leaving the hall. 4, 5, there go 3 more. Others are leaving also, and I can recognize some of them as men who have been openly undecided. Apparently, they're unwilling to vote, caught on the horns of a dilemma, swayed, no doubt, both by Mr. Adams and Mr. Dickinson. This is a fearful moment of decision. Some of these men are apparently not capable of facing up to it. President Hancock.
Embodying the Declaration of Independence. The vote will be by colonies, each colony voting as a unit. A majority will decide. The clerk will call the roll.
12 votes will be cast. New York has decided to abstain. Thus, 7 votes will carry the issue.
New Hampshire, Mr. Josiah Bartlett.
New Hampshire votes unanimously for independence.
Massachusetts, Mr. John Adams.
The patriots of Massachusetts vote unanimously for independence.
Rhode Island, Mr. William Ellery.
Independence.
Connecticut, Mr. Roger Sherman.
Independence, unanimous.
New Jersey, the Reverend Dr. Witherspoon.
Mr. President, in my judgment, the country is not only ripe for independence, but is in danger of becoming rotten for want of it. New Jersey votes unanimously for independence.
Pennsylvania, Mr. Benjamin Franklin.
The majority of the delegation from Pennsylvania votes for separation from England, so help us God.
Delaware, Mr. Caesar Rodney.
Delaware votes unanimously for independence.
The Declaration of Independence is passed. Delaware has cast the deciding vote. There's no reaction from the delegates, and the voting continues. It will very probably be unanimous by colonies. Many of the individual delegates are shaking their heads. However, no matter what may be said against the Declaration, this document is impressive. It reads well. It begins, when in the course of human events change is necessary, and then continues, and I quote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty,
and the pursuit of happiness.
July 4th,
Secure these rights.
1776.
Deriving their
John Dickinson loses his fight to block the Declaration of Independence, and the 13 colonies go forward to establish the United States of America.
I hope that you enjoyed that as much as I did. To me, it presented a view that was probably very much like that day on July 4th, 1776. Minus the reporters, of course. Our next story is a parody of the famous ride of Paul Revere. It comes to us from the OTR series Escape and tells the tale of one Liege Butterwick and his tooth. While there's no basis in fact for this one, I am absolutely sure that it happened.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, maybe sure is a strong word. Perhaps we should go with it's a matter of maybe. The show is titled A Tooth for Paul Revere, and it first aired on July 4th, 1948.
Some say it all happened because of Hancock and Adams, and some put it back to the Stamp Act and before. Then there's some that hold out for Paul Revere and his little silver box. But the way I heard it, the American Revolution broke out because of Liege Butterwick and his tooth. My great-aunt was a Butterwick, and I heard it from her. Every now and then she'd write it out and want to get it put in the history books, but they'd always put her off with some trifling sort of excuse. But the way she told it to us kids, sitting there before the flickering fire on some blustery, blowy night, it sounded spooky enough and wonderful enough to be as true as the Union.
History books, bah. You don't get the right of things from such. In the story of a nation, it's the queer corners that count. The tales that get whispered down through families. Now take Paul Revere, for instance. All most folks think about is his riding a horse, but he was a silversmith by trade, and there was a kind of magic in that hand of his. I could see just a little bit farther into the millstone than most folks, and in that little shop of his on those fateful nights, he sat over a miraculous flame and brewed the revolution in a silver teapot, and then he put it into a little silver box, no bigger'n this.
Yes, that's the way my great-aunt talked about Paul Revere, and the chills ran up our spines. But it takes all kinds to make a country, she used to say, and it isn't till the plain ones, like Liege Butterwick, get stirred up, that things really start to happen. Lige was just an ordinary sort of man, without special vision into a millstone. It might be a grand day in the history books, but for him it was just Tuesday, till he read about it in the papers. Folks could argue and fret about Boston tea parties and British warships in Boston Harbor and British soldiers in Boston streets. But Liege Butterwick just clucked his tongue and wondered how the corn might stand this year on his farm outside Lexington, Massachusetts. One day, Liege Butterwick woke up with a toothache. The hot salt pack and the tansy tea his wife fixed for him didn't seem to help much. On the third day, Mrs. Butterwick tied a string to the tooth and Lige stood by the door.
You ready?
Uh-huh.
Well?
Marthy, when it came to the pinch, couldn't quite do it.
So, that's how Liege Butterwick came to ride into Lexington, Massachusetts that day. He just had to see somebody about that tooth. And when he got there, the town was in an uproar.
Liege Butterwick.
Eh? Oh, good day to you, neighbor Williams.
Lige, I didn't expect to see you here today.
It's my tooth.
Tooth? What do you mean?
Huh?
Oh? Isn't it exciting?
Exciting? The toothache?
No, you idiot. All this. Have you seen them yet?
Seen who?
Why, Hancock and Adams, of course. John Hancock and Sam Adams. They're at the Parson Clark's.
Only folks who come here to see was the barber. Figure he's the only one who can do something for my tooth.
You don't fool me, Lige. You're probably just as excited as I am. Have you cleaned your musket?
Musket? Why, it's 5 months, the hunting season yet.
That's where you're wrong, Lige. Looks like hunting season may be early this year. Huh? Keep your powder dry.
Huh?
And so Liege Butterwick came to Lexington, and it was a great day for the history books, and to him it was just Tuesday. And his tooth was jumping, and he went to see the barber as the likeliest man he knew to pull a tooth. But the barber took one look at it and shook his head.
Now, I can pull her out all right, Lige, but she's got long roots and strong roots, and she's going to leave an awful gap when she's gone.
That's true.
Now, what you really need, though it's, of course, my business, one of these here artificial teeth that go there in the hole.
Artificial teeth?
Yeah.
Land of mercy, it's flying in the face of nature.
Nothing of the kind, Lige. Artificial teeth is all the gold these days. Lexington ought to keep up with the times. But it would do me no good to see you with an artificial tooth. Yes, indeed it would.
It would do you good, but supposing I did want one, how in Tunket would I get it in Lexington?
Now, you just leave that all to me. You'll have to go into Boston, but I know just the man. Here, if I can find it. I had his prospectus here somewhere. Oh, yes, here. See here? This fella called Revere in Boston that fixes him, and they say he's a boss workman.
Revere?
Yes, now you just listen to this here. Whereas many persons were so unfortunate as to lose their foreteeth. That's you, Lige.
Oh, yeah.
To their great detriment, not only in looks, but in speaking, both in public and private. This is to inform all such that they can have them replaced by artificial ones.
I see.
That will look as well as the natural and answer to the end of speaking to all intents. Oh, yes, and then see, it goes on. His name. Yes, his name's right here. Paul Revere, goldsmith, near the head of Dr. Clark's wharf in Boston.
Sounds well enough, but what's it going to cost?
Oh, I know Revere. Comes through here pretty often, as a matter of fact.
Does?
Yes, and he's a decent fella, even if he is a pretty big bug in Son's liberty. Now, you just mentioned my name.
Well, it's something I hadn't thought of, but in for penny, in for pound. Missed a day's work already, and that tooth's got to come out before I go stark staring mad. But what sort of man is this Revere, anyway?
Oh, he's a regular wizard. A regular wizard with his tools.
Wizard? I don't know about wizards, but if he can fix my tooth, I'll call him one.
So, Liege Butterwick got back on his horse and started for Boston. He rode through the busy, excited streets of Lexington, and when he came opposite the residence of Parson Clark, he saw a little crowd collected, men staring, so he stopped his horse for a moment and looked.
Mister, is that them?
Is it who, son?
Mr. Hancock and Mr. Adams, sir. There through the window. Tall, handsome man and the short man with a face like a bulldog.
I wouldn't know, son. They're strangers to me. Get up.
And when he got to Boston, he began to feel queer. And it wasn't only his tooth. He hadn't been there for 4 years, and he'd expected to find it changed, but it wasn't that either. The sky was clear and beautiful, but Lige felt like there was thunder in the air. It was uncanny. And the people, there'd be little knots of them on the corners, but when you came up to them, they seemed to melt away. Or they'd look at you and stop talking. And then he came to the harbor. Out there in the port of Boston, riding black and grim, with the British warships. He'd known they'd be there, of course, but it was different somehow, seeing them with their guns pointed in at the town. Suddenly he felt uncomfortable, felt he'd like to turn and go home. But he was hungry, and so he went to a tavern for a bite.
Good day to you.
And what may I do for you, stranger?
Just a bite and a sup, if you're serving.
Aye. Have a seat. You'll be served.
Thank you. Nice weather we're having these days.
It's bitter weather for Boston.
Well, now maybe for Boston, but out in the country, we'd call it good planting weather.
I guess maybe I was mistaken in you. It is good planting weather. For some kind of trees.
Trees. Well, now, I suppose you're right about that.
That's so. And what kind of trees would you be thinking of?
There's trees and trees, you know.
Now that you ask me,
You meant the Liberty Tree. And may it soon be watered in the blood of tyrants.
No,
the Royal Oak of England, and God save King George and loyalty! At him, boys!
Wait, stop. I didn't mean... Glory, I always heard city folks were crazy. But politics must be getting serious in these American colonies when they start fighting about trees.
Aye, and it is, friend.
So they threw you out, too?
Yes, blast them. But I want to shake your hand. Nobly done, friend. I'm glad to find another true-hearted man loyal to the crown in this pestilent, rebellious city.
Well, I don't know as I quite agree with you about that. But I came here to get my tooth fixed, not to talk about politics. And as long as you've spoken so pleasant, I wonder if you could help me out. You see, I'm from Lexington way, and I'm looking for a fellow named Paul Revere.
Paul Revere? No, so it's Paul Revere you want, my worthy and ingenious friend from the country. Well, I'll tell you how to find him.
Good, I thank you.
You go up to the first British soldier you see and ask the way, but you'd better give the password first.
Password?
Yes, you say to that British soldier, "Any lobsters for sale today?" And then you ask about Revere.
But why do I talk about lobsters first?
Well, you see, the British soldiers wear red coats, so they like being asked about lobsters. Just try it and see. Just try it, my friend, and see.
Ho!
Pardon me, sir. Do you have any lobsters for sale today?
What? How dare you? Seize that man!
Barrel. Place to hide.
Down that way. Come on, Sergeant.
Huh?
You can come out now. They've gone past.
Oh, yes, thank you.
My sakes. Look at your clothes. That was a tar barrel you jumped into.
Yes, I'm a sight.
What were they chasing you for?
I really don't know. Guess I didn't give the right password.
Password?
Yes, but all the same, I don't think soldiers ought to act like that when you ask them a civil question. But city folks are soldiers. They can't make a fool out of me. I came here to get my tooth fixed and get it fixed at will if I have to surprise the whole British kingdom to do it.
Good for you, sir. Can I be of any help to you?
You can, boy. Tell me where I may find the silversmith, Paul Revere.
Oh, that's easy. Right before your eyes. There's a sign hanging down by the wharf, and that's his shop. I work there.
Well, now, those soldiers did me a good turn after all. Come on, boy. Now maybe I'll get my tooth fixed.
Then Liege Butterwick was in the shop of Paul Revere, silversmith, goldsmith, jack of all trades, sculpturer of artificial teeth, brewer of revolutions, wizard. The shop itself was small and dark, with mysterious shadows lurking in the corners and the back. It was crammed full of the wondrous products of its owner's skillful hand, gold and silver objects of great beauty, prints of Boston and caricatures of the British, art boxes and bottles filling the shelves. At this particular moment, it was also full of customers, and Liege Butterwick, with the cautious shyness of the countryman, sank back into a corner seat out of the way and watched as Paul Revere waited on several customers. And the last of these was a grand lady who looked like an irate turkey gobbler.
Oh, Master Revere, I am so disappointed. When I took the things from the box, I could just have cried.
It's I whom disappointed, madam. What was the trouble? Must have been carelessly packed. Was it badly dented?
No.
I'll speak to the boy.
No, it wasn't dented. But I wanted a really impressive silver service, something I can use when the governor comes to dine with us. I certainly paid for the best. And what have you given me?
I've given you the best work of which I'm capable, madam. It was in my hands for 6 months, and I think they're capable hands.
Oh, I know you were a competent artisan, Master Revere, but...
Silversmith, ma'am.
Well, I don't care what you call it. I know I wanted a real service, something I could show my friends. And what have you given me? Oh, it's silver if you choose, but it's just as plain as a picket fence.
Simple, plain. You pay me high compliments, madam.
Compliments indeed. I'll send it back tomorrow. Why, there isn't as much as a lion or a unicorn on the cream jug. And I told you I wanted the sugar bowl covered with silver grapes. But you've given me something as bare as the hills of New England, and I won't stand it, I tell you. I'll send to London instead.
Send away, madam. We're making new things in this country. New men, new silver, perhaps who knows a new nation. Plain, simple, bare as the hills and rocks of New England, graceful as the boughs of elm trees. If my silver were only like that indeed. But that's what I wish to make it. As for you, madam, with your lions and unicorns and grape leaves and your nonsense of bad ornamentation done by bad silversmiths, your imported bad taste and your imported British manners, puff, away with you. Puff, puff, puff.
Why, never.
Puff, I say.
Oh.
William? Yes, sir?
Put up the shutters. We're closing for the day. William, no word yet from Dr. Warren?
Not yet, sir.
Yeah, what's that? Well, who are you there in the corner?
Well, Mr. Revere, it is Mr. Revere, isn't it?
Yes, of course.
It's a kind of a long story, but closing or not, you got to listen to me. The barber told me so.
The barber?
You see, I'm Liege Butterwick, and it's my tooth. Here,
Tooth? You'd better begin at the beginning. But wait now. Here, you don't talk like a Boston man. Where'd you come from?
Oh, around Lexington way. And you
Lexington? Were you there this morning?
Well, of course I was. That's where the barber I
Never
told you
mind about the barber. Were Miss Hancock and Mr. Adams still at Parson Clark's?
Well, they might have been, for all I know. But I couldn't say.
Great heaven, is there a man in the American colonies who don't know Mr. Hancock and Mr. Adams?
Oh, well, there seems to be me. But speaking of strangers, there was two of them staying at the parsonage when I rode past. One was a handsome man. The other man looked more like a bulldog.
So they are still there. And the British ready to march. Did you see many soldiers as you came to my shop, Mr. Butterwick?
See them. They chased me into a tar barrel. There was a whole parcel of them by the common with guns and flags. Looked as if they meant business.
Thank you, Mr. Butterwick. You're a shrewd observer. You've done me and the colonies an invaluable service.
Oh, that's nice to know. But speaking of this tooth...
You're a stubborn man, Mr. Butterwick. All the better. I like stubborn men. I wish we had more of them. Well, one good turn deserves another. You've helped me. I'll do my best for you. I've made artificial teeth, but drawing them is hardly my trade. All the same, let's have a look. Here, come over here by the light.
Aye.
And now, open.
Ah.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Butterwick, it appears to be compound agglutinated infraction of the upper molar.
Oh.
And I'm afraid I can't do anything about it tonight. But here's a draft that will ease the pain for a while. There. Drink.
It's spicy and queer.
Never mind. Now you go to a tavern, get a night's rest. Come back, see me in the morning. I'll find a truth drawer for you. If I'm here. Oh, yes, you'd best have some liniment.
It's a queer kind of shop you have here, Mr. Revere.
Some folks think so.
Say, what's in that little bottle?
Where? Oh, there. That's a little chemical experiment of mine. I call it Essence of Boston. But there's a good deal of the east wind in it.
Essence of Boston? Well, they did say you was a wizard. It's genuine magic, I suppose.
Genuine magic, of course. And here's the box with your liniment. No, not that one. This one.
Thank you. But that other little box there, the little silver one with the stars on it and the elm tree.
Oh, yes. You like it? Pick it up.
Yeah, mighty pretty work.
Thank you. My own design. 13 stars there. See 'em?
Uh-huh.
You could make a very pretty design with stars. For a new country, say. If you wanted to. I've sometimes thought of it.
But, What's in the box? It feels queer.
What's in it? What's in the air around us? Gunpowder, war, making of a new nation. But the time isn't ripe yet. Not quite ripe.
You mean that this here revolution that folks keep talking about?
Yes.
In this box? Glory be.
Master Revere, it's come. The message from Dr. Warren.
William, my riding boots. Now hurry, I must be off. Sorry, Mr. Butterwick, but I must rush. Take your liniment and come back tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, thank you, sir.
If I'm back tomorrow, I'll help you.
Yes,
Good day, sir. Good day.
It wasn't till Liege Butterwick was alone in his room at the tavern where he was to stay the night that he realized what he had done. In the bustle and haste of leaving Mr. Revere's shop, he had picked up the wrong box. Instead of the box of liniment, he held in his hand the little silver box with the 13 stars upon it. He hadn't quite believed Mr. Revere when he talked about the box, but then everything had seemed so almighty queer since he'd arrived in Boston. And his tooth ached, and his head felt light, and he, being human, was curious. He looked for a keyhole, but there was none. The box wouldn't open. He shook it. Suddenly, it felt warm, as if there was something alive inside it. He held it to his ear.
Great Godfrey.
Now, Liege Butterwick was feeling scared, but he was feeling kind of good, too. And then he found out that he was talking to himself.
Well, I'm not a Britisher. I'm a New Englander. And maybe there's something beyond that. Something people like Hancock and Adams know about. And if it has to come with a revolution, well, I guess it has to come. Can't stay Britishers forever here in this country. But what am I going to do with this box? Too big a job for one man. Guess we'll have to take this back to Paul Revere.
First, he went to the little shop on Clark's Wharf, but it was closed up tight. And it was a while before he could rouse anyone. Then it was the boy William who opened the door.
Oh, it's you. Well, Master Revere isn't here.
But I've got to find him. Can you tell me where he's gone?
Why do you want to know?
Got something for him. He needs it.
You wouldn't be a spy for the British now, would you?
A spy? Me?
Well, then what is it you got for him?
This box. Little silver box. Took it by mistake. Think it's important.
The box? By the flag, it is important. But he's gone. Gone to warn the Patriots that the British are coming.
Which way, boy? Which way did he go?
Across the river, to Charlestown.
All right, thank you, boy. I'll be following.
No, you don't get any boats from me. There was a crazy man long here an hour ago, and he wanted a boat, too. My husband was crazy enough to take him. Do you know what he did?
No, ma'am.
He made my husband take my best petticoat to muffle the oars so they wouldn't splash when they passed that Britisher ship. My best petticoat, mind you.
Huh.
When my husband comes back, he's going to get a piece of my mind.
Was his name Paul Revere? Was he a man of 40-eyed, keen-looking, kind of Frenchy?
Don't know what his right name is, but his name's Mud with me. My best petticoat tore into strips and swimming in that nasty river.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll get a boat elsewhere.
Mr. Butterwick, sir, be careful. Your rowing is right under the stern of a British man of war.
Don't worry, I see it.
Please, Mr. Butterwick, shh.
Ahoy there!
What's up, Mr. Christian?
I guess not. Thought I heard a boat.
Be careful, Mr. Butterwick.
All right, boy.
Revere, he's been gone an hour.
Gone? Gone where?
Riding to Lexington to warn Hancock and Adams as soon as he spied the lights up there in the North Church.
I've got to catch him. It's this box. He's got to have it. Where can I get a horse?
Right over here. Come on.
Out through the darkened streets of Charlestown he rode, on into the black of the countryside. Once he got lost, but he found his way again and rode on. It was just dawn as he came in sight of Lexington, and the dew was glistening on the green of the April grass. But Liege Butterwick didn't notice the beauty of the dawn. The little silver box was hot now and burning in his pocket. And then suddenly he reined in his horse. For there on the road were two men carrying a trunk, and one of them was Paul Revere.
Well, Mr. Revere, say I'm on time for that little appointment about my tooth.
Well, it's you. You are a stubborn man, Mr. Butterwick.
Ah, well, but you've given me a merry chase all night.
I've had one myself. Been captured by the British once and escaped. Don't know what's still in store for me, but we're carrying a precious cargo here in this trunk. We're bringing to safety all the private papers of Mr. Hancock and Mr. Adams.
Which reminds me, I've something for you here.
What? A silver box. You've got the silver box.
By mistake, and it's getting frightfully hot in my hand.
Yes, my friend, and little wonder. Look across there, Lexington Green.
The green? Why, there's a line of Lexington men. And there across the creek, facing them, is a column of British redcoats.
Aye, lined up with guns they are, Mr. Butterwick. They've come to arrest Mr. Hancock and Mr. Adams, and the Minutemen stand before them.
Mr. Revere, I'm a peaceable man. I've had little notion of politics. But I don't like what I saw in Boston. I don't like soldiers chasing peaceable citizens into tar barrels, or uppity ladies with imported British manners. And I don't like British redcoats on Lexington Green. That I don't.
Mr. Butterwick, what you doing?
I'm stamping on your silver box, Mr. Revere. I'm breaking it open.
Do you know what you've done? You've let out the American Revolution. Look, they've fired the first shots.
Well, I guess it's about time. And I guess I'd better be going now.
But, Mr. Butterwick, where are you going?
Home. Got a musket on the wall there. I'll be needing it.
But here, what about your tooth?
Oh, a tooth's just a tooth. But a country's a country. Anyhow, doesn't ache anymore.
Okay, that was pretty cute, and I have to admit that there was no truth to it. But to be safe, I did look it up, and, well, it just didn't happen. On July 4th, we honor the legacy of our forefathers by setting off fireworks that make our pets question their life choices, and eating hot dogs in such quantities that defy human biology. So, this 4th of July, as you dodge rogue bottle rockets and debate if that's one too many s'mores, it's not, by the way, take a moment to appreciate the history. Happy Independence Day from Ron's Amazing Stories.
Yo-ho, yo-ho, brushless or lather, boys, whichever you've the notion. 50 cents for shaving cream, $1 for the lotion. Old Spice means quality, said the captain to the bosun. So look for the package with the ship that sails the ocean. Yo-ho, 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 yo-ho.
That was episode number 695, and it was brought to you by Audible. Head to audibletrial.com/Ron's Amazing Stories and get a free audiobook today. You'll help the show if you do. If you want to follow the podcast or the blog, head to ronsamazingstories.com. There you will find any of the links that I mentioned and how to contact us. Do you want to help the show? The best thing you can do is to tell your friends all about us and leave reviews and comments wherever you listen. Clicking that follow or like button helps us grow. Thank you for listening, and I hope you come again to find out what are Ron's Amazing Stories.
All of the vintage audio used in the podcast is believed to be in the public domain. Ron's Amazing Stories does not own the rights to any of the old-time radio used here. If you hold the rights to any of the shows played, please contact us immediately at ronsamazingstories.com.